So I wanted to do my thoughts on this new product that is being released and is on pre-order right now. And I guess they're starting to ship about mid-May of 2025. Of course, it's out of stock because people are going to jump on it immediately. Samplers are a big thing for people, and people love portability and groove boxes and things of that nature. Now, 1010Music is the same people that make let me show you some of the other stuff. You might have seen the black box, the blue box, the nano boxes they make. This is one of the ones that I was really interested in, probably of all of them, which is the lemon drop. Well, they've included the lemon drop in this particular device now. And you can see the price is $8.99. Now, I'm not mad at this price. I think for what this potentially can be and become, that's a good price. And it is a portable sampling device with battery. That's half the problem. The pads have velocity sensitivity, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they have like some aftertouch. So we're just looking at what's included. Here's what's included in the box when you get it. So one of the things you want to keep in mind about this device is it works off the SD card. So you want to make sure, though they give you an SD card, you want to make sure whatever SD card you get something that's a quality SD card. All right, so recording capabilities. Some of the things that you want to note is you can make recordings up to 4 hours in length. This box is basically disc streaming, meaning that the samples and things you use from it are pulling off of the card, which is a good thing because it takes a lot of stress off the machine and probably prevents it from having so much crashes. Here's some more good things to think about. 24-bit sound quality, 7-inch touch screen, so the screen has the touch, and then you get the 16 pads that are touch responsive and has MIDI and other stuff. Now, if you watch some of the videos you'll see that are out, you might be a little disappointed in a lot of things. I was personally, that they left off. I'll talk about those in just a second. You have a lot of ins and outs. A lot of them are the 3.5s. They definitely have USB to your computer and another USB, I think, for charging purposes is the reason why the other one's there. The battery life is 3 hours, as far as I remember. You do get 8 tracks. That's excellent for a portable device. Most of the time, if you can get 8 tracks, that's really good. They do have sample banks, loops, granular, which is huge. So they basically put the lemon drop into this device so you can use it. The multi-sample, the slicer, and the external MIDI. It has a scene-based sequencing workflow, and you got the real-time loop launching that you can do too. Now, one of the things that I was kind of disappointed on that I saw, now I don't know if this may change at the time of recording this video, this is what we know, okay? You only get 1 granular track. In other words, you can't use more than 1. Now, inside of a granular track, if you've ever used or seen the lemon drop, you can have 2 waves going at the same time. So that's cool. It's basically the lemon drop. But I kind of wanted it to be able to have, if I want to do 8, I'm not going to do 8, but if I wanted to have 8 granular and nothing else, that would have made me more intrigued on getting it. There are some effects in there: delay, reverb, chorus, flanger, phaser, overdrive, and which is per track routing, which is good. They do have an LFO system with envelopes, step sequencer, so that's all good. A lot of good stuff. I'll give it props. I'm not like saying don't get it. I'm just saying there's a few things that might make you not want to get it right now. Maybe that you want to wait for. And one of the things that they mentioned in one of the videos was that, and this again could very well change, is that it doesn't have a count in. What sampler doesn't have a count in? That's kind of weird. The other thing is the UI is not the most fun looking UI to look at. Like here you can see a scissor, I guess, represents a chop sample. Keys would be like a synth of some sort. They have like a multi-sampler synth, but you can't multi-sample it. So that kind of confuses me a little bit. Maybe they'll come out with a way to fix that. I would think they would want to include that in the box, but perhaps not. The other thing is, of course, you can do drums. The one shots cannot be recorded into. You have to import those files via your USB-C card. The endless encoders are kind of dope, which is good to have on a device like this. And then you have these buttons here for your record, stop, play, and you can see the effects buttons, etc. Now on the scenes, from what I've seen, I've only seen 4. So per track, you could have 4 scenes. I think that's kind of a little bit limiting. I would have put 8. Now that could very well change by the end of the time that they release the next beta or next, I should say, update. But this is just what we know now. I have not seen, they do say multiple stereo inputs and outputs, USB-C host and device ports. So yeah, one's for charging and one's to go to your computer. Of course, I told you guys about the battery is 3 hours, it says right here, just in case you're wondering where I got that from. They do have updates, and I know they will update their stuff pretty good. I think dimension wise it's like, if you've ever seen those Voca things from Korg, it's like 2 of those put together. So it's not too bad. I think the size is perfect for a portable device. I think it looks well built. I can't knock that. There's your SD card slot. This little MIDI 5DIN back here. I can't tell if it's a regular size or not. That part I can't tell by the pictures. Let me look at it here. See if we can zoom in. Oh, that's the power button. I'm tripping. So the MIDI is over here, so it's a 3.5. Okay. Well, that's good they at least put a power button on there. That is something that you kind of want and need. Okay, so I kind of touched on it, but there's no count in. So how do you record something without count in is weird. Unless you're doing all step sequencer and it's meant to be just that. The other thing is there is no, you can't turn quantize off. So everything is going to be like on the grid initially. Now that's what we know so far based on what I've heard in the videos that I watched. It could be the next firmware popped out in the end of May and all that stuff has changed, which if it does, that would be incredible. But not to be able to move MIDI notes on the thing is kind of weird. I mean, at least not off grid if you need it, because you can't get a swing with that. So yeah. Oh, and I don't think there's any groove pool or anything where you can change the groove. In other words, there's no humanize, there's none of that. So there's a BPM, you can see the brightness you can adjust. These are your outputs to adjust up here above them. And whatever you touch on in here is what you're controlling. So if you touch on this channel, then you're controlling the volume for this channel. And these 8, I think, correspond to that particular channel. So hopefully that makes sense. They don't have enough pictures on here. You should watch the video. Watch, what's his name? Lollapop? Loopop? Watch his video. He gives a really good breakdown. And mind you, he is on a version, I think a beta version that's not fully done. So keep that in mind when you're watching, that things could change. So I'm just giving you what I've read, what I've saw on videos with people who actually have it, and just throwing my opinion. This is just an opinion, and I'll say that I actually like the idea of this device a lot, but I think it's got a lot of updates that it needs before I would ever want to buy into it. I'm not a fan of buying early as an early adopter for stuff that doesn't have at least what you like about it. In other words, When the Push 3 came out, for example, I didn't get it right away. I waited now for a while for me to get it. And then I bought it used. And the thing is that if I'm going to use a device, it better have 80% of the stuff I want in it when I buy into it. That was kind of the reason why I never kept the SP404s for a long time, because they were always missing like one or two things. It wasn't really until the SP404 4.04 release that I felt like, ooh, the SP is kind of at that point where it's super nice. And it still needs some other stuff, but I think it's time to move on to a Mark III version of that. But that's a whole nother topic. Okay, so they say here no laptop required, just pure creative flow. And that makes sense, but I have not seen anything with regards to getting your sound out of it. In other words, does it have an export feature where you can export to the SD card your stems or something, or what does it have? So I haven't seen anything or read anything on that. I think in time maybe that'll get a little bit clearer. So check out some of the videos. This video is just kind of like a trailer type video. It doesn't really help much. But let's go to their downloads. Black box. Yeah, see, it's not even on here as for anything as far as downloading firmware. So see how they put their firmware like this so you can see it. Let me go to one more thing. Okay, yeah, this is it. So in time, if you're interested in this device and you're looking for a portable, now I will say I like this better than what the Sonicware stuff came out. And I'm not dogging Sonicware. The Lo-Fi 12 XT or whatever, I love the sound of that. But I think this particular box looks a lot better, and the screen being this big and a touch screen, I mean, that's a win in my opinion. So that being said, I don't know much else about it, but I will say if you're interested in it, either put your pre-order if you're trying to be the person who gets it out the gate, or my advice to you is if you're unsure, just wait. There'll probably be enough of these where you can access them, and they're not cheap. So if you hang tight, you might see maybe in the next 3 to 5 months, they drop a couple updates and add some of these features and things that people really want to make it better. But yeah, so anyway, I have no negative thoughts on this thing other than that we got to wait and see what they do. And anyway, that's 1010Music's Bento, which is like a bento box anyway. But I just wanted to put that out there and tell you what I thought about it. All right. Looking forward to seeing what they do with it. It's going to be pretty cool. All right. I'm out.